Cassie to the team. Stay close. We can't leave him behind. The team rallies around Cassie. With calculated precision, they coordinate their efforts, aiming to distract and disable the vine creature. It lashes out with its tendrils, desperately clinging to its prey. But then the team fights back with a combination of weapons. Without hesitation, she reaches for sheer willpower. One of them slices it with a machete, leaving the tendrils squirming and flying away. As the chaos implodes, they manage to retrieve their comrade's gun from the creature's grasp. Weakening its hold, Cassie seizes the opportunity and delivers a swift, decisive blow, severing the creature's tentacles. They hastily retreat, dragging their injured companion away from the alien's reach. Outside the building, they catch their breath. Adrenaline still coursing through their veins. Their wounded comrade grasps for air, grateful to be free from the vine-like alien's suffocating grip. Cassie looks around at her team, her eyes filled with a mixture of relief and exhaustion. Cassie, slightly breathless. We need to regroup. Sheer will. Cassie, let's move out. Just as the rain starts to sprinkle, the first member of the team takes a few cautious steps forward, scanning the surroundings. Suddenly, without warning, a massive 18-point buck charges him, lifting him 3 feet up into the air, its antlers tearing through his chest with a sickening crunch. The team's horrifying gasp mingle with the dying man's futile gasp for air. They freeze, horrified by the gruesome sight before them, fear tightening their grips on their weapons, their hearts pounding with a mix of grief and adrenaline. Cassie, gritting her teeth. Stay alert! We can't let our guard down. We have to keep moving. One of the members wants to free him from the deer. Cassie. Woods. Daytime. The group stands in the aftermath of the brutal deer attack, the air heavy with tension and unease. As they catch their breath, one member suggests cutting loose the injured man, eyeing him. Carlos, ever practical, chimes in, his voice steady. That sounds like a good idea, until another one sneaks up behind you. His words hung in the air, a stark reminder. The younger kid, sensing the imminent danger, glances over his shoulder, contemplating the tempting notion of fresh venison. But fear grips him, and they already did have some back at the cave. And with a sudden change of heart, he hastens a step to catch up with the group, leaving behind the notion of a feast. As they press forward, the fog begins to descend, surrounding the woods in an ethereal wood. The fog begins to descend, shrouding the woods in an ethereal haze. The once familiar surroundings takes on an eerie and foreboding quality. Visibility becomes limited, and the sound of the footstep is muffled by the thick mist. From within the fog, a screech cuts through the air, followed by a cacophony of wild and unsettling sounds. The echoes of the deer struggle reverberate through the trees, adding to the growing sense of dread. Cassie, her voice strained with urgency, shouts to the group to wait up, but her pleas fall on deaf ears. Fear takes hold as 3 members of the group break into a panic sprint, believing the aliens to be the source of the horrifying sounds. The group becomes split, the fog acting as an insidious divider between them. Cassie, Chelsea, and 2 others find themselves separated from Dylan and the 3 companions he was with. They are left with no choice but to navigate the treacherous woods. their hearts pounding with uncertainty and the weight of their newfound isolation. The fog wraps around them like sinister ropes, concealing both the dangers ahead and the fate of their companions. With every step, they must steady themselves, for survival in this unforgiving world demands unwavering courage, and the bonds of camaraderie fade out. They are left with no enveloping fog. Chelsea's voice breaks through the eerie silence, her words barely audible amidst the dense fog. I can barely see my hand in front of me, let alone a tree, she remarks. Her voice teems with both fear and frustration. Just as their disorientation seems to consume them, a deafening roar tears through the air, rattling their very souls. The ground trembles beneath their feet as thunderous vibrations of an F-16 fighter jet reverberates through the forest. The jet flies perilously low, the sheer force of its presence causing the trees to sway in part, as if bowing before its might. The deafening roar is accompanied by an overwhelming rush of wind whipping their hair and clothes about in a frenzy. Enveloping fog. Within the tumultuous cacophony, a peculiar sound permeates the air, a pulsating, ominous bang that reverberates through their chest. Their senses heighten as they strain to make sense of the disorienting symphony. And then, as torn from the fabric of their nightmare, they catch a glimpse of a red streaking through the fog above. A trail of smoke marks the descent of an F-16, carving a path of destruction through the ethereal haze. Flames leap from the top of trees, consuming them in an inferno as if the jet careens towards its inevitable. Within the tumultuous cacophony, as the jet careens towards its inevitable fate. Through the black curtain of fog, they can barely make out the twisted silhouette of the downed aircraft, its wings engulfed in flames and smoke. The chaotic scene unfolds about a mile away, a spectacle of destruction and chaos against the backdrop of a disorienting fog. Fear and disbelief grip their hearts as they grapple with the reality of the nightmarish world. The crash site beckons, promising answers and perhaps new dangers. But to reach it, they must navigate the treacherous path. The fog clings to their every step. As the jet careens towards its inevitable fate, the flames on the trees start to leap around them as they sprint towards the jet. Why are we running towards it? Asked Chelsea, barely able to keep up as she pants in a sprint. Cassie replies that she thought she heard another aircraft. Chelsea's eyebrows raise. They hear another pulsating blast and see a blue laser-like missile fly 30 feet through the air and strike the F-16. The crimson and dark red explosion knocks them to the ground. Chelsea peeks her head up after the raining debris, just in time to see a mirror-like ripple in the fog, and then a pink spherical object consisting of two hula hoop-like structures rotating, crossing each other. The flames on the trees start to leap around. Cave entrance, daytime. Bobby and Allison are foraging around the outside of the cave. They're looking for food that isn't the eggs that they have to seek for. And they were wanting a different taste and flavor for their palates, of course. They found some legumes and some curious trees that had a nice taste to them. They've been gathering them for about an hour. They start to head back. So do you think my mom can make these into something? Allison replied. Maybe. I have a couple of ideas. We could smash them up and make peanut butter. Wow, look at the sun. Why does it look like that? Allison. You know, when the light reflects off of different fogs and particles, it creates tricks of light. Beautiful, isn't it? Cave entrance. Daytime. Bobby and Allison. Bobby takes a step, and it creates a soft clang. He flinches. Alyssa takes another step, and they fall into what appears to be a pit. It's actually just a sewage drainage. The grate was loose, and when both of their weight was on it, it collapsed and they fell through, splashing into the milky water below. They could hardly see except for one square of light peeking through the top, about 15 feet above where they fell through. Ah! My boots are ruined, says Allison. Bobby. I hurt my elbow. I'm okay though. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. My boots. I found these just yesterday. Bobby takes a step, and it creates a soft clang. Ow! Something bit me, says Allison. What's that? Oh no, let's start walking this way, Bobby. I hear something. Little did they know, the squeaking sound behind them was a bunch of rats that heard them drop down and they were hungry. They started to rush towards them. Bobby could hear the splashing of the 3 inches of water behind them as the animals ran through the sewage water. I think the rats, said Bobby. Let's run. You're right, she starts running too. They run and run. A couple of rats jump off of the top of the sewage and fall on their shoulders. Allison falls over and Bobby helps her up. They quickly start to get back on the murky path. There's too much trees here. On his flashlight. Holy shit, said Allison. Allison and Bobby found themselves in a dark, dank sewer, their hearts pounding in their chests as they realized the danger they were in. The echoing sounds of the scurrying reached their ears, and soon enough, a swarm of rats emerged from the shadows, their beady eyes fixated on the 2 intruders. Some of them looked deformed, but they didn't have time to analyze them. Panicking, Allison stumbled and fell to the ground, unable to gain her footing. The rats closed in, their sharp teeth and frenzied movements creating an eerie spectacle. Bobby's fear gripping his every nerve fought against his instincts to flee and instead rushed to help to Allison's aid. Desperation filled Bobby's heart on his flat. Bobby's heart was filled with desperation as he tried to pull Allison to safety, but the relentless onslaught of rats overwhelmed him and her. One crawled up his pants leg. He screamed, "Ah!" and tried to pound on it, pounding on his calf to get it off of him. Another one was starting to bite on his back of his thigh. With a mixture of terror and sorrow, Bobby was forced to make a heart-wrenching decision. He had to save himself. Summoning every ounce of strength, Bobby managed to scramble up a nearby ladder, his heart pounding. Another rat was on his shoe. He took the bag of legumes and swapped at it. The rat fell away, smashing against the hard wall. Another one came at him. He hit it with the bag, and it hit the rail. Bobby's heart was filled with desperation. He clawed his way to the surface, leaving behind a mortifying scene in the depths of the sewer. As Bobby emerged into the daylight, gasping for breath, he couldn't shake the weight of what he had just witnessed. Life's brutal reality was laid out before him. A reminder that his survival often came at a cost. The natural order, with its cycles of predator and prey, had it cruelly exposed in the dark encounter. Shaken to the core, Bobby's mind grappled with the stark truth. In the world where existence, and sometimes one survival comes at the expense of another. The young boy pondered this as he slowly made his way back towards the cave in tears. Outside the cave, Bobby made his way back to the cave, wiping the tears from his eyes. The fog started to roll in. Misty and creepy, it gave him chills. Fear started to go up his spine. He started to walk faster. He heard a sound. Meow, meow. Bobby looked quickly. It sounded like a mere kitten. He rushed over to the area where the noise came from, trying not to be distracted by the fog rolling in right in front of him. In a log, he saw the eyes of a beautiful tabby cat. He reached in and grabbed it by the nape of his neck, cupping it under his hand. His heart was filled, the void, with the warmth of the beautiful creature he saved. Outside the cave, Bobby made his... As Bobby gets closer to it, Lindsay is stepping out of the front entrance. His mother inquires him. Howdy, Forjo. Where's Allison? Bobby, still holding the cat, exhausted. She's dead. She's gone. What happened? His mother asked. Bobby quickly explained to his mother what happened without getting too much into the emotion of it. Is that why you got this cat? Because you're scared of the rats? Bobby just puts his head down towards the cat. I think we should name it, he says. They enter the cave. Inside the cave, Cassie and Chelsea explain to Lindsay and Bobby what happened. They described the crazy phenomenon they saw in the air. Bobby is astounded, but still a little sorry for what happened earlier. Lindsay replies, well, that's a lot to unpack there, you guys. What do you guys think we should do? Cassie, I'm really at a loss of words. We learned a lot today, but now that we know for sure we're dealing with these type of aliens, it's really confusing because they seemed low-level aliens, but now I don't know, continues Cassie. There just seems to be something bigger going on. These things don't appear to be anything that's capable of operating such an aircraft. I agree, says Dylan, overhearing the conversation. Bobby is in the room playing with his new cat. He's feeling a little bit better since pets seem to have that type of effect on people. His mother stands by the door admiring him, wondering how much the trauma will affect him going forward as he grows up in a world of insanity. Chelsea approaches Lindsay, stern look on her face, grabs her elbow. I need to talk to you right now. I don't... Outside the cave, Lindsay and Chelsea walk outside They step into the cool night air, the moon casting an ethereal glow on the rugged landscape. The night envelops them, the trees whispering secrets as they navigate through the undergrowth. Every rustle and distant howl seems to echo their anticipation. The moonlight casts eerie shadows on the forest floor, as if nature itself holds its breath, awaiting their discovery. Finally, they come upon a secluded clearing, bathed in moonlight. In the center stands an ancient tree, its gnarly branches reaching towards the heavens. Chelsea's eyes widen as she spots a cluster of thorny vines entwined around the tree trunk, their thorns glistening in the moon's glow. Lindsay approaches cautiously, drawn to the thorny vines, as if they didn't almost strangle her to death. Without hesitation, she extends her hand, the thorns pricking her skin ever so slightly. As her blood mingles with the essence of the vines, a surge of energy courses through her veins. A revolution washes over them. A revelation washes over Chelsea and Lindsay, the profound realization that their connection to the thorny rat and the vines is more than mere coincidence. Together they vow to delve deeper into the enigma. Chelsea and Lindsay step forward into the unknown, their hearts brimming with both trepidation and a newfound sense of purpose. The night holds secrets, but Chelsea and Lindsay are determined to unlock them, unearthing the truth that will shape their destiny. Behind the tree, they see a tree stump. It looks peculiar. "This is where I found it," says Chelsea. A revelation. Chelsea holds the rat in her hands, its tiny body quivering with fear. She carefully points out the peculiar thorn marks on his fur, identical to those that Lindsay had noticed on her skin. A chill runs down Lindsay's spine as she realizes the significance of the finding. Silent but determined, Chelsea and Lindsay exchange a knowing glance. Chelsea and Lindsay watch as the rat starts to twitch, its body writhing in convulsions and unnatural movements. The sound that emanates from its trembling form sends shivers down their spines, a guttural mix of agony and otherworldly resonance. As the rat's throat turns a sickly shade of purple, a grotesque transformation unfolds before their eyes. Green mucus and oozing substance spew forth from the rat's mouth, straining the ground with a vile residue. And then, in a display of grotesqueness, the creature regurgitates a pair of wings. The appendages, still coated with a viscous substance, emerge from the rat's mouth and bury themselves in the dirt beside the tree trunk. They're frozen and they are both standing there frozen, their minds reeling in with disbelief. The implications of this monstrous sight sends chills coursing through their veins. Lindsay's eyes widen with a mixture of fear and dread as she contemplates the possibility that she, too, may become a vessel for these nightmarish transformations. What does it mean? Lindsay stammers, her voice quivering with unease. Chelsea's face mirrors the uncertainty and concern etched across her features. They exchange a sober glance, realizing that the horrors lurking within them midst are far more insidious than they could ever imagine. "We need to find a way out of here," Chelsea says, her voice laced with determination. "We can't stay in this cave any longer. We have to find answers and hopefully a way to stop whatever this is happening. I don't see how we can embrace this or learn from it. I don't know, says Lindsay. I think we gotta keep an eye on this tree trunk and see what happens. Lindsay nods. Lindsay nods with slight apprehension. They braced themselves for unimaginable horrors, which each steps their hearts pound in anticipation as they head back to the cave. Help me get this door open. Dylan stands firm in his belief, saying that the cave is the safest option. As he opens the door and lets them in, he had a weird look on his face. They explained to him what they thought. He retorted, "Out into the unknown and the elements would expose us to even greater dangers," he says. But Chelsea remains resolute in her quest. She wants to know what comes from out of the tree trunk. What will come of the wings that spewed out of the rat's gut? As the tensions rise between them, their voices echo through the cavernous space. Lindsay nods with slight and go through the cavernous space, bouncing off the damp walls. Lindsay watches them both torn between two perspectives. She understands Dylan's concern, but also feels a gnawing curiosity urging her to explore the secret that lie beyond the safety. Just as the argument reaches its peak, Bobby, unnoticed by the others, has snuck out into the darkness. With his loyal cat on a leash, he ventures into the mist-laden landscape, his young curiosity overriding any sense of caution. Bobby's eyes widen as he stumbles upon a nest of hatched eggs. Their hatchling occupants nowhere to be found. Before he can fully comprehend the situation, two winged rats launch themselves at him, their feral eyes gleaming with hunger. The boy's heart pounds in his chest as he desperately tries to defend himself and the faithful feline companion. He didn't want to experience this again. Tragedy strikes as Bobby's cat fights against the winged assailants, and go through. Allison. Bobby's cat was named after Alyssa, which was short for Allison. Stands still frozen as she looks like she's about to be attacked by one of the animals. At the last minute, the cat jumps to the left and swipes the creature's neck. Opened, blood from the animal pours out as the feline makes crazy maneuvers and rips the wings to shreds of the other one, but the third was just too much. It bites her tail. Bobby grabs the leash and chokes it to death around the winged rat, whatever the hell the animal was that vaulted out of the area from behind. The Venus flytrap-like plant, which seemed to be in a dormant state. Another one of the rat aliens thrashed towards Alice's neck. She let out a noise. Bobby cried, yelled, stomped at the animal. Bobby was making progress, disposing of the rest of the rat aliens with brass knuckle blade that one of his punishment from the cave as given to him. All of a sudden, the Venus alien arises, moving rosebud-like head up, with the green leaves displaying outwards. One of the tendrils grabs for Bobby's ankle. In the confusion of the fog, he falls over into a bunches of leaves. It goes after Allison the cat. The cat tries to strike back, but is weakened already. One of the tendrils wraps around the cat's neck, and Bobby grabs it. All of a sudden, the most horrifying scene occurred right before Bobby's eyes. As the plant decapitated the cat, due to the strength that Bobby was pulling from resistance, the cat made no more noise as it fell down into a lifeless puddle of blood. Bobby ran quickly as he scared and feared for the tendrils which were coming after him. Bobby was making progress. Young Bobby was about 100 yards away, running at top speed when he realized he was still holding his pet, although it wasn't alive anymore. He stopped for a second to gaze at it, his new friend that he thought would protect him. Then, one of the tendrils from a nearby tree snaps at him. Bobby flinches back quickly, his reflexes